Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Polite as Fuck with your lovely ass hostesses, Ellie
and Erica.
Back at it. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary of the podcast last episode, and also talked about how we're moving, and we got lots of things going on. So stay tuned.
Crazy time.
You guys hopefully are watching on YouTube. This is probably gonna be one of the last times you'll see this setup. So.
Wild. Take it in.
Yeah. It's all going to be changing for the better. Sexual voices.
For the better.
All right. Our 10 and 10 today is, happy Halloween. First of all, tomorrow's Halloween. And so in light of Halloween, we wanted to do candies that we're passionate about. And I'm wording it like this because I don't mean love. I just mean like if you have strong feelings about. So I can go first.
Okay.
And my first one, so if there's any military kids listening, which I'm sure there are, if you know which houses I'm talking about, those big ass fucking chocolate bars. I mean the king size Reese's, Hershey's, like no matter what kind of candy, if it's the big size, that you got a good house. And I feel very passionately about the families that go out of their way to buy those candies to give them out. It feels like fucking Christmas. It is the best.
Wait, what does that have to do with the military household?
Because I feel like, see, this is what I'm saying, is if you were in the military, you know what I'm talking about. Because there were always these houses that, like, always did those. And you would, like, make your way up. Like, if you lived on base, you would make your way up to those houses because they would always have, like, the king-sized.
I feel like there's those houses in every neighborhood, no?
Maybe, I don't know. I've never lived in a neighborhood like that had it like that.
Like, I can relate to that, but I never lived on base.
Oh, well, I thought it was just like a base. At least, like, I'm sure there were houses in your neighborhood. I'm just saying that, like, there was, within the base, it was, like, the neighborhood of king-sized candies. It was, like, the Colonels and the whatever else is above that. So that's all I'm actually capable of thinking of. So
every time someone says their rank, I start seeing like a G6. Because aren't they like letters? Like I'm an E7.
And I don't think so. Because there's Lieutenant Colonel, and that's like LT.
I think if you're enlisted.
Oh, there's like numbers?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, what was the candy that you said?
This is the only one. This is my top one that I'm most passionate about, but it's less about the kind of candy. It's more so the king size candy.
Got you. Yes. That is always like
that's my
the
top.
pot of gold.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Well, I have a negative one, and it is, why are dots still a candy, and why does anyone hand them out?
Wait, is it the chewy?
Yeah,
like,
they come
flavor?
in the yellow box. There's like 4 of them, and they just stick in your teeth, and they're not good.
Yeah. I did not even think of that.
They're the worst candy ever invented.
They are. I agree with that. My negative one is Tootsie Rolls.
Those also kind of suck.
I understand, like, if you're at I almost said dentist. I highly doubt a dentist office would have Tootsie Rolls. But I'm just saying, like, you know those, like, offices that have, like, the candy, jar, like, you go somewhere, like, okay, Tootsie Rolls there, I get it. You're kind of, like, you're trying, but it's, like, cheap. Halloween is candy. Yeah. And you're going to throw fucking Tootsie Rolls in my plastic pumpkin? Get the fuck out of here with those Tootsie Rolls. And on top of it, if you try to throw in, like, the flavored Tootsie Rolls, you're just a piece of shit. Like, you're just a piece of shit.
I like...
No! No!
I like those better than the regular Tootsie Rolls. Specifically the vanilla one. The blue one.
Excuse me, like a vomit. Ew.
I know. Well, I did. Maybe I don't like it anymore. But as a kid, I thought they were pretty good.
Not a fan.
My next one is $100,000. Really should be worth $100,000.
But
those things are freaking good.
What is
it's like better than a Snickers.
What is it?
I feel like it's like a Snickers.
I feel like it says no,
better.
But what is it?
let me read to you what it is.
I don't think I've ever had it.
$100,000. Chocolate caramel crisp rice.
Ooh, can I see the packaging? No, I've never had one of those.
I think they're pretty freaking good, and I only ever see them or like would get them in Halloween handouts.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
My all-time favorite candy forever and ever and ever and ever will always be Reese's.
Yeah.
Reese's. You just sent me this thing and I'm
Reese's.
afraid to pronounce it. Reese's. Peanut butter cups. Not any, I mean, I do like the other one, but I'm saying like number one top is just like during Halloween when they give you just like that single one. Ooh, I'll have like
So
7 of
good.
those. They're so good.
Yeah. That's carried into adulthood. Like buying the Trader Joe's peanut butter cups, that's just like
that's
an
where-
adult Reese's.
Version, yeah.
Yeah.
And I still eat way more than I should.
Oh, fully. I bought some last night. That is a really good one. Back to negative is a Three Musketeers. Because why would you just get a chocolate with that little nougat thing or whatever it's called in the middle? Is that how you pronounce
I
it?
have no idea, but I
Nugget?
want to just nugget. Just like the emphasis of it.
Like there's
Nougat,
nothing
maybe?
in there. Yeah,
Actually,
nougat?
No.
No.
Nugget.
It's
not
N-O-U, nugget.
Not get it. Okay, we need to stop with the jokes. I agree. I don't like that.
It's just like
People like that shit
I
though.
know.
So bland.
So bland. There's nothing in there. Like I think Snickers has the same
Thing.
nugget.
Yeah.
Nougat. But it has other stuff in there, so it's good.
Understandable. Yeah. Ones that I hate, Almond Joy. I just hate it.
Wow.
I'm not a big, it's like overpowering.
It is a lot of almond. Of
coconut. It's a lot. And I normally like coconut, but I just like, and I'm also, should have prefaced this with I'm not a big chocolate person. So it's like, really the only chocolate I can handle is chocolate and peanut butter. So any other chocolate, I'm like, but everybody seems like, I understand that if you like chocolate and Almond Joy may be like, oh, you got a gold coin in your Halloween basket. But for me, I was always like, I'll trade those for Reese's any day.
Yeah. Did
And
you
that's
do
what
that
I did.
with your sisters?
Oh, all the time.
And like make them seem like this is really good. You want this?
Oh. Tootsie Rolls? It's probably why Sophia's like, I love Tootsie Rolls. And I'm like, yeah, because I psychologically traumatized you into liking Tootsie Rolls.
I love Tootsie Rolls, Sophia. You want these ones. That is funny.
Me and Ani East with like Sophia and Isabella bartering. We're like, no, like, trust us. You are like, and I'll play it up for Ani East to like switch, like try to do it for Isabella. And I'll be like, man, Isabella, you're getting a good deal.
Just
God.
mean older sibling things.
Love it.
Love it though. Do you know what a Take 5 is?
Is it chocolate?
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen it.
It.
I don't know what it consists of.
Let me read this one too. This one's also really good. It's made by Reese's.
Ooh.
Pretzels, caramel, peanut butter, peanuts, and chocolate.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What? Take 5?
Take 5.
That might.
It's really good. It's kind of like those little turtle things, you know, that you can like make with like the caramel and the pretzel, and you like drizzle chocolate over it or whatever.
The bark I was trying to make last Christmas.
Yeah,
that?
yours that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's in package form.
Ooh. Why? I wish adults could trick or treat. It'd be so much fun to go to like all of our friends' houses and just be like, but then.
Well, I saw South Park was doing like a trick or treat thing, but then I was like, I'm pretty sure this is for kids. I was
You're like, okay.
I was gonna send it to you, and then I was like, I don't think this is for us.
Oh man, I guess that's the only like plus side of like if I lived near my niece and nephew, I could
You
just
have an
like
excuse.
go with them.
It is fun.
Yeah, I miss that. I have strong feelings about gum as a Halloween candy. Like
I don't think I've ever. Oh, like the bubble gum.
Yeah, just like the individual little things. I just do candy. Well, I don't understand. It's not fun. I'm sure I ate it as a kid and whatever was glad, but it just feels like a stocking stuffer. And I don't need that.
It's not good. It's like so sugary and
Yeah.
like.
And lasts like 0.2 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, in middle school I was like, oh, cool, take it to school. But it's like, no.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a Jolly Rancher than than gum.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Or like what other like really kind of just like candy, like lifesavers. They're not like the best candy, but I take it over gum.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Lifesavers are good. Like a mint. If you need the mint, if you're going to do gum, Lifesaver mints, that's
I did mean the
better.
gummies, but the mints are
Really good.
I would go buy them right now. I love those things. They're very minty. They're like painfully minty. I kind of like it.
Kind of burns.
Yeah.
This is the last one, right?
I think so.
Hot take. I know this is like the grandma candy, but is it Werther's? Like the butterscotch hard candy.
Ooh.
I think those are good.
I think those are good too. Again, I would much rather have that than gum.
Yeah. But for a hard candy, that's like my...
Yeah.
I know not everyone likes those, but I'm like, I think they're great.
Yeah.
I used to actually buy them from the Dollar Tree for like movie theater snacks.
Yeah. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Because then it's like you're not eating. You're like, you kind of have to work
Something
on it for
a little bit.
Tea. Honestly, I just feel like if you're going to be participating in Halloween and giving out candy, just like get the good shit. Get like the Twix and the Kit Kats and the like Nerds, and like don't get those like, you know which ones I'm talking about, the like off-brand, just has like the gum or the like lolly. I'm like, ugh, God, just get the good shit.
Yeah.
Everybody will be so much happier. And fucking put a toy in my thing. I hated those like plastic little, if they had like you know those like
the spider rings.
It's the things that you would get from school. They would put in their basket. Like, no, this isn't school time. This is after hours. This is like my cocktail hour, bitch. Like, put in some real shit.
Give me the candy. Yeah.
A toy.
The ring doesn't even fit your finger or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, put a fucking Tootsie Roll in there too. See what happens. Just kidding. Anyway, happy Halloween. I cannot wait. I love it. I'm like sad that the season's over, but it's not really over because then we also have November, which is basically continuation of Halloween, and then slow phase into Christmas and wintertime.
Interesting take.
Yep. Halloween actually, because Nightmare Before Christmas came out, Halloween doesn't really end until November 30th. 31st? Yeah, 30th.
30th?
Yeah.
Huh. Never heard that before.
Well,
our house isn't decorated, so it doesn't matter.
I know we really are moving at a good time, because if we were moving a month earlier, I would not spend a single dime on new decorations, like new things for my room. It would only be Halloween things for the house. You would be like, you would have to sit me down and have a talk. We would have to come
Ellie,
to a yeah.
There's no space.
Yeah. Exactly.
I love it.
All right, so we're gonna dive into our episode. We have a really Halloween themed episode for you guys. We recently put on our Instagram for you guys to share any horror stories you have from dating, and let me tell you, the conversations Erica and I had about how to like word this was hilarious, because I'm like, I don't want to approach it as like, what's the worst dating story you have, or what's the scariest dating story, because I'm like, especially for women, like that could be interpreted really bad. So I'm like, how can we word this to make it seem like we're asking about like the fun stuff, not the like really not so great stuff. And we got a few responses, so I'm excited to talk about it. But I think like, I was just thinking back on all of my horror stories that I have, and a lot of them I've shared on the podcast already. So I did try to find or think of ones that I haven't shared already, but it's hard because I really feel like I've been like so open to share like whatever the fuck has been going on.
I think it's okay to retell them, especially because I don't know if everyone listens to every episode.
Oh, that's true, and I will be.
Okay. Yeah, I went back. I did like the dating Wrapped, obviously, but I didn't even tell all the stories in that one, and we had like sprinkled them throughout the year. So I'm approaching this as if I haven't said any before. But the first one I had is actually from this year. Are we just going?
Yeah.
Is
Oh,
that
yeah.
fine?
Oh, please.
Because I approached dating very differently this year. I was being very positive. I was like, how did I feel? What did I think? Good things. But some of these I like still couldn't even. It was really hard.
Yeah.
And one of them, this was my doing because I was trying really to like let the guy take the lead. Like, I'm not going to be the one to instigate the plan. Mm-hmm. But there was this music festival happening in San Diego, and the lineup was really fun. Everyone was busy. I think you were working. Like, people weren't in town. So I really wanted to go, but I didn't really want to go by myself. Mm-hmm. So I asked this guy if he wanted to go to it, and he was down. And I was like, fine, let's do it. Like, we each bought our own ticket. It was a little expensive, so I'm like, I'm not going to ask you to spend $100 on our first date.
Yeah.
So I got it. You know how you get, like, nervous for a first date? I'm, like, meeting this person for the first time, and he tells me that he's leaving, and I was like, okay, I'm going to call the Uber. This is how far out I am. Mm-hmm. He's like, sounds good. I'm, like, in this cute fit. It's really windy, though, so I have, like, this, like, skirt on. It's not super short, but it's, like, flowy, mm-hmm. so it keeps like blowing up. So I'm like, crap, I think like I wore like not the best outfit. Mm-hmm. So I'm like standing awkwardly with like the wind. It's cold. He shows up an hour after I get to the venue, and like I was already showing up late because like later than it had started because like we both worked that day. Like the festival started at like noon.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you good to get there by 4? He had said yes. So I'm waiting out there, and I'm, like, in my mind going back and forth of, like, should I just go in?
Was it an hour from when he texted you, I'm on my way?
It was an hour from when I got there. Ugh. So over an hour from when he said he was on his way. Oh, my God. Yeah. And I am, like, annoyed that I waited, but in my mind I was like, if I go in there, I don't think I'm ever going to find this person. Yeah. Because it's like a festival, and like, you know, you don't have service, you can't see, you can't hear, whatever.
Yeah, and the meet at this corner never works.
No. So I was like, I feel like I should just wait. And he was like saying like, oh, I'm looking for parking, but then like 20 minutes would go by and I'm like, where are you parking? Like, what's happening? And then it was getting to the point where I was like, I don't think he's actually coming. I think I should just go in and, like, whatever. Like, that's annoying. I wouldn't have paid or done this if it was going to be by myself.
Yeah.
Not because I don't think that that's fun. But, you know.
Yeah.
There's some things that it's just, like, I don't want to do it by myself.
No, yeah. I would not have.
Anyway, he gets there, and it's fine. Whatever. I feel like I'm, like, putting on a show. Like, trying to be, like, entertaining and, like, make him comfortable and, like... I just wasn't, like, ever relaxed. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, why did I do this? We, like, get food at the thing, and he doesn't pay. The festival setup is horrible. Like, the porta potties, there's one set of porta potties for the whole festival.
Yeah.
They're, like, overflowing, disgusting. And he never asked me a single question about myself, which I know we've talked about this before, but it was, like, insane how much he was talking about himself. He was literally showing me videos of him at the gym.
Stop.
And talking about how he used to play soccer. He showed me what he looked like when he played soccer and how he's gained so much weight and how he's so much, like, more fit now and how he... And I was like, wow. I never asked about this. I didn't care. I don't want to know. He's showing me, like, shirtless photos of him. This is so weird. This is so weird. And we're walking back because I asked if he could, like, drive me home because Ubers were so bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, he didn't pay for my meal. He didn't pay for my ticket. He didn't come up with this plan. Like, the least he could do is drive me home because it's on his way. Like, he told me where he lived. He acts like it's, like, the biggest burden in the world. We're walking back to the car, and he's, like, walking so fast, like, keeps walking ahead of me, and I'm in, like, boots with, like, heels on, and I'm not trying to sprint back to your car, and then is like, do you want to go to, like, a bar? And I'm like, no, dude, I don't want to hang out with you anymore. And he like, continued to ask me to go on dates afterwards. Wait, when we were in,
Is that the guy that talked to you at
No, different guy. When we were at Parks and Rec, I don't know if you remember a guy coming up to me and, like, giving me a hug.
That night is a little blurry for me, to be quite honest with you. Our party night? That night?
Yeah.
Yeesh. Don't remember too much.
Yeah. I like saw him, but I didn't put two and two together. I was like, I know this guy from somewhere.
Yeah.
How do I know him? And he came up and said hi and like gave me a hug and he was like, it's good to see you. And I'm like, I don't ever want to see you again. Thumbs up, buddy. Oh. Anyway, it was just like very draining and crazy to me. And I was like, just as like a decent human being, you're being an asshole.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you're like acting like, if you don't want to drive me home, just I'd rather you say that than make me feel bad for asking when I literally didn't ask you for anything.
Yeah.
This whole time.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was just a date I had earlier this year.
I love it. As far as like this year, I was thinking about doing a dating wrap, but I honestly have not really gone on too many dates.
Or I feel like they at least haven't been so horrible.
Yeah, maybe? That it's just like, this is the problem with horror stories. It's like, you know, that just like feeling of like, I mean, there are some that are like, holy fuck, I can't believe this just happened. But I was talking to my sister about it on the phone, asking if she had any. And she was like, really, like, meeting anyone online in person for the first time is a horror story in itself. Like, even if the date is like top notch, you end up together, like the date itself it's just it's kind of scary. Like it's pretty scary. So I think the only one that I can think of that I was just like not super thrilled with is the date where we went to the Mexican restaurant. Honestly, can't even think twice. But the thing that tipped me off is like when you lie about what you do. Like, it was this guy that was like skirting around the truth of him being in the military and was just not being very like forthcoming with information on a first date. And I feel like, what do you do is a pretty like common question to ask, that I felt like I kind of checked out and then started really like nitpicking all of the little things, like the kind of restaurant, the location of the restaurant, what he fucking got, how he was eating his food, like everything, how he was dressed. Like, it really started to get to me, to like them walking out and then realizing that I should have waited to see what kind of car he drove, and that would have set it off, because it was like those freaking Dodge Chargers. Oh, no. Dark green with like all tinted windows or something like that. And I'm like, it's just annoying because like he did not give off that vibe. He kind of gave me like cute Pillsbury Doughboy vibe, and I'm like, ew, you're just like a Pillsbury Doughboy douche now. Like, so upsetting. When you are like not confident or like secure in yourself enough to just like, you're gonna find out eventually. Yeah, own it. Own it. And if you're not, if this has like hindered you from dating, then fucking leave. Yeah. Or like, I don't know, not saying that like I'm not dating like military people. I just think that they're like harder to date and not something that I'm looking forward to or looking like at in terms of like someone I would want to date. But also like, that's your job. Like, okay, cool. I'm not judging you. And also like, aren't you supposed to be like proud of what you do? Isn't this like the whole like thing about you guys is like ooh-rah and stuff? I act as if I've never been a part of it. As if it wasn't my entire fucking life until I turned 18. So, I just like, funny. So it's like situations like that I feel like have happened like a little bit. I also feel like I am the horror story sometimes. What? Like, I was thinking about that one of the other dates I went on this year, which was like all right. It wasn't, nothing bad happened, basic coffee shop. But I like get so, not boundary, but like, instead of just being like, okay, this was a fun, like, I finished my coffee, I'm ready to go home, he was like, do you want to go to this spot? And then do you want to go to this spot? And so, like, it kept going and it was fun. But by the end of the date, I was like, I don't really need to see you again. We've did everything that we could have possibly needed to do together. And now I'm like, there's no, like, need for me or want for me to see you again. I had said something like, well, how did the date go for you? Or something like that. But in person, as we were, like, ending the date, or like as he was walking me to my car, and he was like so like surprised that I would ask like such a question, and I didn't even think that it was that weird until he brought it up, and he like literally kind of like stopped and he was like, whoa, I've never had anyone ask me that before. And I'm like, I didn't think it was that weird, but like
I still don't think that that's a weird thing.
Me either, but I feel like I'm interpreting him like just the kind of guy maybe that he is that if he were to see this and like ask what his, not that I would be a horror story, I'm just saying like, oh yeah, I had some, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like
you're the situation, made a situation that someone,
because I asked like how the date went. I'm like, but what are we gonna do? Text about it? Ew, gross. And also like.
Well, and I think it hopefully makes someone more honest, which didn't seem to make him, because didn't you guys like never talk again?
Yeah. Well, he did try, but then he was just like, well, I guess this is never gonna work because the schedule. He's like, with your schedule, we have not been able to make a plan, and then I never responded. I was just like, yeah. Which we don't need to add in there. We'll cut that out.
Well, I went back. What I was gonna tell you earlier.
When you screamed.
When I was dying laughing. Because I went back to look at the notes from my dating Wrapped from last year. Mm-hmm. Tell me if you kept calling things gay, ended up being a horrible communicator, met up with friend in Little Italy, and hooked up 4 times that night.
Oh. Not Sid the Sloth. What's his name? From Monsters, Inc.
Yeah.
Monsters, Inc.
Man.
Monster Man.
Uh-huh. Which is so funny, like,
but
I
don't know if he...
Okay. I don't think he would ever see it. It's just funny that, like, I had not great things to say about him at all, and then it's, like, hooked up 4 times.
Sometimes the sexual chemistry is, like, off the charts.
The sexual chemistry was there, absolutely nothing else, which is crazy because I feel like it's really hard for me to be, like, intimate with someone if I don't vibe with you personality-wise.
Oh, I'll pull it out of the freaking woodwork there. Like, that guy that I was seeing in Lake Tahoe, he was blowing my mind. Every friggin' blowing my back while he's at it. Like, it was crazy, the amount of, like, I was just so... obsessed with him. And then I think I was like, because the sex was so good, I was like, he is great. But thinking of like dates or horror stories, it's not even a horror story, but it's like, picture like in midwinter mountains, like, so it's like fucking like snowstorm, and he's like, let's go out, like, let's go get a drink, and there's where we live or where we grew up, there's like a road that goes up the mountain, and then you're at the top of the mountain, and then there's a road that goes down the mountain, and then you're in like Tahoe, and we're like in the valley. Well, the guy lived at like the top of the mountain, and so I'm thinking like he's gonna come down and we'll have a drink, and so he sends me the bar. And I mean, I grew up in this town, but I didn't know bars because I left when I was freaking 16, yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. It's at the top of the fucking grade, and his house is like 2 minutes down the road, and it's like this little hole in the wall, and I'm like, you just could not even be bothered to drive down, so now I'm like driving up this mountain. Oh, it's like 7:00 at night, which means it's pitch black out.
Yeah.
And there's like, it's snowing, and now we're like in this hole in the wall bar. Like, you should have just texted me later so we could go straight to your house. Like, why are we trying to like, and even like I didn't think about it until I pulled up and I was like, you know those moments you're like, where you're like, not that I should leave, but also like, are you fucking serious? Like, I'm really in this situation right now?
Yeah. That's so annoying.
Did I turn around?
No.
Did I give him the pussy? Yeah. So, yeah.
So, not scary enough to scare you away.
Yeah. Some of my, like, actual, like, horror stories that are, like, with partners have happened just, like, at the house of, like, just dumb shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't really, like, put myself in a position, and I never really have, just because it's, like, I don't know, I'm a homebody, and that's, like, me and my dating anyways. So when I did move to San Diego, I really did try to put myself out there. I was, like, my first time on dating apps, and so I was like, let me just, like, say yes to everything. And as soon as, like, the first 2 happened, I was like, this is why I don't do it. And ever since then, I think I've gone on, like, 4 Hinge dates this year, and that's been the max.
I mean, that's good.
Which is crazy, because last year was 0, like 0 anything. So this guy was like one of my first dates that I had in San Diego, and this was a second date. The first date was all right, but like I was like, okay, we can like, we have enough things in common that it would be like fun to go, and also like Padres game. Yeah. This is gonna be great. Well, I can't remember like exactly how the date started, but I remember it not starting super great. I think the plan was that for him to come here and then we'd get an Uber to go there so that neither of us had to drive and he could just park his car here, which just makes sense because we're kind of like right down the road. And I feel like something had happened. I have a feeling that it was he made me pay for the Uber, which like feels like something he would do. And also like would also feel like something that would piss me the fuck off the first 5 minutes of the date. So I'm like, great. And I also had a feeling like I think he wanted to hook up like the daytime, like right before the game. And I'm like him coming over was like a pre-date sex sort of situation. And I'm like, no. So we go to the date. Or we go to the game and he proceeds to like we go in line for drinks and snacks and all of these things. And he pays for them. It's 1 pretzel for both of us to share and 2 drinks. I think we both got like a margarita or something like that. Fine, paid. We go back for drinks. He's like, we're in line. I ask for a double, like a margarita, but a double. And he doesn't get anything. And I'm like, are you going to get anything? He's like, no, I'm good. And so I'm like, okay. So then I pay because I'm like, you didn't get a drink.
Yeah.
Whatever. We go back up. He then goes and leaves and buys himself a beer. So I'm like, okay.
Weird.
And then at the end of the game, as we're kind of like, it's not really the end of the game, but you know how you just like kind of walk around?
Yeah.
He then goes like, we're at the like Jersey hat shop and he's like, you should buy me a hat. Like, can you get me a hat? And I'm thinking like, this is a joke? He's like, no, you should give me a hat like since I got the drinks. And I'm like, wait, what is happening? And it's like, those situations where like, I just had this happen to me recently, where it's like one thing, it's like little things. So it's not this like crazy, he was like, whatever, like threw a drink in my face. Like it was like one thing after another, after another, after another. And then I'm like, you're really about to ask me to buy you a $50 hat because you bought 1 drink for me?
Yeah.
And then left me to go back and we shared a pretzel? This, and you didn't even get the Uber. I was pissed.
Oh, yeah. I would be livid.
And yeah, still think about it. Pretty sure I got the Uber back to the house too. I'm like, I can't stop thinking about it. And throughout this, I mean, the whole time, this guy was just such a dick. He was on his phone the whole fucking time. I was talking more to the guys in front of us than him. And like, I've shared this before of how much I don't like phones and secrets and stuff. Like, I know I just met this guy, but you're really gonna text with your whole body and phone like faced angled away from me so I can't see who you're texting. And then when I'm like, I'll call a bitch out, I don't fucking care. So I'm like, who the fuck are you texting? Like, sorry to be that bitch, but like, what, like, why are you here? Like, what are we doing here? He's like, oh, it's my cousin Brenda. Is it your cousin Brenda? Like, that was one of the like strongest moments that I can remember of being like, I'm about to get up and leave. I'm about to get up and leave.
Oh, yeah.
And I really do, like, thinking back, it's like, there's a lot of times where I'm like, oh, do it for the plot. It was a funny story. Like, I really wish I just got up and fucking left.
Yeah.
And also, like, how iconic would that have been for him, for me just to fucking leave?
Well, why don't you go hang out with Brenda then? I'm gonna go
home. Oh, this motherfucker still be, like, in every single one of my stories. All the time on there. I'm like, what? Go away.
Yeah, literally. No one wants you here.
I don't even follow you. So, what do you think is going to happen here? I don't know. That was just crazy. I was just like,
so crazy.
You have the nerve. And that was my introduction to dating in San Diego. So.
It's so bad.
Go Padres.
So bad. Go Padres. Everything about that story makes me so upset.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
Do you have a second one or no?
I mean, I have a lot, but the only other one I wanted to talk about was that, I mean, there's just so many, but this guy that I was, like, somewhat interested in, like, we went on 4 dates. He's a comedian. He was, like, super engaging, funny guy. Mm-hmm. Like, I
don't think I know this guy.
Maybe you would. But he's sober, which I thought was, like, he's a bartender and he's sober, so that was interesting to me. And, like, was very open about, like, the alcoholism in his family. Not that, like, that made me attracted to him, but just, like, I thought it was cool how real he was. Yeah. And he could, like, make jokes about it. He is a bit on, like, the out of shape side. Mm-hmm. But, like, I think his personality made up for it. Like, he wasn't, like, so heavy mm-hmm. to where it wasn't attractive for me. But, mm-hmm. like, I don't know. We get to, like, the sexual portion of the dates. Mm-hmm. And the kissing, like, he just kept, like, gnawing on my lip. And I was, like, that was the second date he kissed me. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just, like, because we haven't figured out our groove yet. And so, like, the third time we hung out, I did stuff for him, and he never did anything for me. He was like, I really want to, but, like, I'm not in it anymore.
You are a fucking liar. I hate... Oh, this is the last dude I was with saying this shit. Fuck off. You're a liar.
I'm like, you really want to? Because you still can. Just because I helped you out doesn't mean that it's over. Yeah. Yeah. And then, so that was, like, really, really annoying to me. And, like, it also just felt like we got too comfortable too quick. Because, that third time, like, there was no date. He invited me over to his house. Mm-hmm. He, like, it was kind of just, like, this is what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And, like, I was not wanting to, like, have, like, penetrative sex, so, like, we're doing other things, but I was also like, this isn't really what I want to be doing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I go on a fourth date with this guy, and his zipper's undone the whole time, and what else did I write?
Check the notes.
Oh, yeah, he came over here, and I thought that we were going to do, like, a game night or something. Mm-hmm. Silly me. But this was the guy that logged into Apple TV.
Oh.
So it was really unfortunate when he didn't renew and we didn't get Apple TV anymore.
Stopped our show. Fucking mid-season. Rude.
But he, like, I, like, have snacks out. He, like, is sprawled on the couch.
Didn't he just, like, spark undone, up with the door, like,
started
closed?
Smoking weed in the house. Like, eating the snacks on the couch. I'm like, who are you? I don't even eat like that.
I don't even smoke like that. That shit, I was like, oh, what did he do?
It was crazy, and I didn't feel like I had, at the time, like, enough of a backbone to, like, get him out, but I was like, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, when this show's done, I'm done. I'm going to bed, and you're leaving.
Yeah.
It's like, no. This is just not okay.
It's so interesting. Like, we'll definitely have to do, like, an episode about this, but I've been thinking a lot about the, like, level of boundaries and how even though I always give myself shit for, like, not having better boundaries and not being able to say no, there is always a point for people, like, even in, like, I've had some pretty bad moments of, like, letting things slide, of just, like, hard no's.
Yeah.
And there's, like, a few hard no's sprinkled in, whether it's, like, dating or family or parents or whatever, but, like, those hard no's stick out. And so when you're in that moment of, like, yeah, nah, nothing's gonna happen, this is the end, like, it's nice to be able to be, like, so firm in that.
Yeah, like, that was the tipping point.
Like, even if you can't, like you said, you can't kick them out, you're not maybe there yet, but, like, we're not, I don't want you to touch me at all. Like, I can't even actually have you breathe at me, so.
Crazy.
Oh my god, so crazy. I have one more before I have to share, and, like, the only one that it's because it's me, and, like, I'm the horror story. Uh-huh. My ex and I, he took me to Amsterdam, and I am a very fun person, and I like to try certain things and have fun and do fun things, and I hope that my forever person will also be fun and want to, like, just accept me for who I am. But I'm in Amsterdam, so I want to smoke, and I want to drink, and I want to do all of the drugs and have a, like, grand old time. Uh-huh. I think this whole trip, there were, like, so many individual things that happened that really set the tone for the rest of the relationship. And just, like, a testament to how the relationship was itself. But in this case, it was me that fucked up because I scheduled a time to go to the Vincent van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam. And I had a plan. I wanted to get there. I wanted to take my mushrooms, and I wanted to be high on shrooms while walking throughout the museum because there's so many tourists. You have to, like, go at your specific time slot. Mm-hmm. So I buy these mushrooms the previous evening, drunk and high, walking the streets of Amsterdam in some corner shop. And if you've been to Amsterdam, you know that they're just like, it's like you don't really know what you're getting. And I kind of knew, like, since I'm not getting it from a real person, who knows what I'm taking? Like, this hasn't looked like any mushrooms I've ever taken before. So I don't know. But I'm like, yeah, I'm like 22 years old. I'm like, who gives a fuck? Like, and this is my first time, like, out of the States, away from my parents, doing something like really, like, traveling crazy, whatever. So the next day, before the museum, I'm like, I don't really want to eat, but I need something in my system. So I decide to get a coffee and an orange juice. Why? Who knows? Chug the coffee, chug the orange juice, down the box of fucking mushrooms. And
the whole box?
They were like in this really weird plastic, like, I don't know, but they were like nugget. They almost looked like weed almost. It was really weird. I'm down the whole one. I'm being a little bit dramatic, but quite a bit. Probably more than necessary.
Yeah.
And I, like, we're already, my ex and I at the time, like, we're kind of, like, already, like, bickering. There's been, like, a lot of stuff happening this trip that I'm, like, you know, hopefully the fucking shrooms will calm me down. In line, in the, like, square where the museum is, and I'm, like, standing like this, and you know when, like, you get, like, your upper lip sweat? Yeah. And I'm just like, huh. Like, something does not feel right. Like, I really don't feel good. And I'm, like, looking around, like, no bathroom in sight. And if you've been to fucking Europe, there's never a fucking bathroom in sight. I'm like, where's a trash can? Well, there's a trash can, but it has, like, one of those, like, protector toppers on. I'm like, I'm about to make a fool out of myself. I projectile vomit everywhere. I am like running to the trash can, trying to get it in there, still coming out. Daylight. It is like, it's got to be like 9:30 on a Wednesday in Amsterdam or something. I'm sure the Amsterdam people are like, oh, for fuck's sake, like fucking American. And I'm like, you know, the trash cans that have the cover. So I'm like, I'm in the trash can at this point, projectile vomiting. He's fucked off, probably like, this is an embarrassment. And so like, I am now having to try to like find a bathroom, and you have to pay your fucking one little coin to get into the bathroom, because you always have to fucking pay. So you like go in into the bathroom, and I'm just like throwing up and throwing up and throwing up, and like we have to go back to the hotel. So it just ended up being this whole thing, and now it's a funny story, and I can look back and I can kind of tell the story as like, oh my god, I was like with my boyfriend at the time, blah blah blah.
Well, you weren't even with your boyfriend.
But I wasn't even with my boyfriend because he fucked off, and then also like there were so many other things. Like it would have been a funny story had it just been like a, oh my god, let's go get changed and had the rest of the day. But then it was an argument, and then of course like, you know, I still want to have fun, and the fun level is now down, which, I mean, I don't blame him. I don't know how happy I would be if you started, but honestly, I don't know. That's a different story. I'm just saying, like, I was that horror story, and I would not be surprised if in his, like, dating life was like, oh yeah, I got a fucking fun story for you about my ex. She fucking threw up everywhere, so I was trying to take her to Amsterdam.
Oh my
But I'm
gosh.
like, oh my god. It's like funny, but I'm also like, I picture it a lot. And there's a smell sometimes of like a certain kind of like coffee, and like brunch sometimes. Brunch and I, you know, have a history. I don't do well with champagne or orange juice or...
It's true.
Yeah, brunch is not my... Brunch and I, we don't get along. But those are my...
Those are good.
Dating
those are good
horror
ones.
stories, yeah.
So, Ellie and I asked on the Instagram, what are some horror stories that y'all have? And it's funny because we did get the voice messages. Have you seen these yet?
No.
Should we listen to them live?
Yeah.
Okay, we got 2 responses that one of them was like, oh boy, I have a good one, but I like don't have, like it's too much to text.
Yeah.
And so I responded and was like, send a voice note, and they did. And then another one was like, the response, well, we'll probably know who it is, but Savannah said, going on a date with a man.
I saw that. I LOL'd. I was like, that is horrific. Like, that is so scary, and I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
And they sent
I'm sending you my
recording
prayers.
too. But we got a few others. One of them, the response was that they accidentally texted the date they had a shit when he said he was on his way, instead of texting their friend that they were gonna
Oh my my god, that's so fucking funny.
Which, like, texting, I feel like that's what happens when you are, like, nervous about something and you're thinking about it so much. You accidentally tell that person that you're so nervous about, like, the thing that you were trying not to say.
Yep.
Like, that's literally what your brain is like, oh, and then you text it, and I've done that before, and it's horrible.
Oh, yeah.
This one kills me. Was broken up with mid-dinner and sat there crying while he finished eating.
That is insane.
Insane. You just, like, at the beginning of dinner, you get dumped, and then you still sit there while he eats his food?
When I was in college, I really tried desperately to get back with my boyfriend at the time because I was just, like, going through... My parents were getting a divorce. It was crazy. And I was like, I just don't want to be alone. And so we tried it. We tried it for like 2 weeks. And I remember he took me to like, it was my favorite fucking breakfast place where we went to school. And I had Bash in like a little travel bag. I used to carry Bash around with me in like my little travel bag. She was like my little, I took her to the movies. I was insane with her. Like, that's why she has all these problems because I took her everywhere. So I just remember her being in this like little travel bag on the booth next to me as I'm trying to like order my favorite brunch, and as he's like re-breaking brunch dude, mind blown, as he's breaking up with me for the second time, like, hey, yeah, I gave you another, it's not working, like, I cannot be with you. And I'm like having to like scooch out while like holding Bash like to get out of the booth. So, I mean, at least he didn't, like, stay and eat, but that's crazy.
That is crazy. Also, that's so funny. I could just picture it. But we got some voice memos, which I'm nervous. I have this app on my phone because I'm trying not to be on Instagram during the day, and sometimes it just, like, will turn off. Okay, but...
It does its job. Sometimes it tells me to get off, and I get really annoyed.
This is the first one. This is a live reaction because neither of us have listened to these.
Okay, I tried recording this, and I guess you can only record for a minute on here. But I had gone on 2 dates with this person. The first date, I had shut my thumb in the car door before he even got there. And we went go-kart riding, and I was miserable because my thumb was pulsing and had a heartbeat. And I was not really able to be present. So the second date, I was like, gotta give him another chance. See what the vibe is. And we went to a hot springs in Minden. It was very expensive. It was $50 a person, and I did not expect that, and he did not expect that. So we really balled out on that second date. And everything was okay. It was a chill time, and it's a beautiful hot springs. But he wanted to play the questions game, which just feels so Mormon and feels so childish and weird.
Never heard of more real
And so we're like playing the questions game and like never have I ever, which are fun, whatever. I get that it's like a date, but I was extremely uncomfortable. And the whole time he's trying to ask me these questions, he's like inching closer to me to try to kiss me in the pool, and I'm like backing up away from him. So we're like walking around the pool as he's trying to get closer to me, and I'm trying to escape the situation. And then we never spoke again. So it was a telltale sign.
I can just picture it, and also it is so accurate. It's the most Mormon thing.
It really
is. It's literally like, how could I like be dirty or like flirty without being that way?
Yeah.
So like, let me ask questions and see what you'll say.
Never have I ever. Oh my god.
Oh, that's so uncomfortable, especially when you
crazy.
don't want to kiss someone and it's in a pool.
And we got sucked into a whirlpool.
Oh,
and that was
so
that.
good. Okay, this one, I'm excited. I have no idea what to expect.
Okay.
It just said it's too long to type, so we'll see what it is.
Hey, Queens. Here's my scary date story. It kind of has two parts, so I'll try to sum it up as quickly as possible. But just for some context, I would like the jury to know that I was, in fact, incredibly down bad at this point in my life, truly straddling the line between depression and desperation, and would have done anything for male attention at this point. So, just for some context, I was working at this little breakfast restaurant at the time, and there was this guy that would come in every week. He was like this single dad, kind of hot in like a blue-collar, rugged way, very polite, very flirtatious. So I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I've never gone on a date with an older guy. Why not? So I reciprocate the vibes. We exchange numbers, yada, yada, yada.
Good for you.
So we eventually plan a date. He asks if he can take me to dinner. I agree to let him pick me up at this time on this day, yada, yada. So on the day of, he texts me that he's there, and I come outside of my house expecting to walk out to his car, but he is standing directly in front of my door and immediately kisses me on my mouth. And I'm like, whoa. Slightly jarring, but fair enough. Maybe he's like old school. Maybe this is like a thing. I don't know. For reference, there's probably like a 20-year or more age gap between us. So I'm like, whatever. We're walking towards his car, and I see this fucked up, beater, filthy, tiny little car. And I'm like, please don't be his car. Please don't be his car. And it's his car, of course.
Oh my god.
I'm not just being an asshole.
No,
it wasn't just like an old car. I'm talking like there were visible garbage bags in the backseat and a tire in the backseat, and there was like trash everywhere, and the engine sounded like it was barely running. Like, this was fucked up. Anyway, so we get in the car. He turns to me and he says, I just want to be really honest and upfront with you from the beginning.
Ew.
Didn't want to hide anything from you.
Oh god.
And he proceeds to begin blowing in the breathalyzer in his car in order to turn it on. Fair enough. Fair enough. So I'm not sure if you've ever been in a car with someone who has a breathalyzer from a DUI, but it is a whole experience. You have to release like 60 seconds worth of pure lung power every like 4 minutes, and it's incredibly embarrassing for everybody involved.
I didn't know that was a thing. Did you know that?
Yeah.
You have to keep blowing.
I didn't know that.
Running?
I do know that there is, like, if you get I did not know how extensive it was, but I did know that if you get a DUI, you do have to use a breathalyzer in order to run your car. Like, you have to show that it's proof. But I just thought, like, maybe I'm not super familiar with a breathalyzer, but I was just thinking like a poop poop kind of situation. 60 seconds of nothing but blowing air. That is what do you do as a passenger? Oh, I'm thinking more like all at once. I'm thinking like, I'm like,
oh. How did you do that? I couldn't do that.
Wait, we have to know what it is.
Oh, that is funny.
That
is crazy. We're halfway through the story,
God,
so
please
it's
go.
gonna keep going.
So anyway, I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to be the only one drinking on this date. So we go to dinner. I order a martini. He orders a Dr. Pepper. During the whole date, I begin learning about this man and finding out, much to my demise, that he is a full-blown bigot Republican. He's showing me pictures from his Facebook, and it's becoming very clear to me. He showed me his Halloween costume from the year before, and he was dressed up as a member of Al-Qaeda.
Oh.
I will let you use your imagination as to what cultural appropriation and extremely offensive attire this man was wearing to complete that costume. So, the date was very weird and awkward, yada yada. The date ends, he drives me home.
All the things that were going through my mind of what the costume could be, that was not even in the realm of possibilities.
Oh my god. Yeah, I was thinking Trump, KKK, stretch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
Okay.
We pull up to my house. He, like, leans in for a kiss. I, like, give him this really awkward kiss for like 4 seconds before I pull away and like thank him for the date, and I go inside. I lived alone at this point, so I didn't have anyone to debrief, but I was like, holy fucking shit, what the hell was that? So naturally, I rip the fattest hit off of my dad pin, known to man. I get in my jammies, I get in my bed, and I'm like, thank God that's over. When suddenly I begin receiving a FaceTime call from this man, and I'm like, no. So high, so scared, so freaked out. But I'm like, you know what? He's probably just gonna make sure I got in the house okay. I'll just tell him goodnight really quick. Like, I'll just make it really fucking quick, and it'll be fine. It'll be totally fine. I'll just say goodnight, I'll say thank you, it'll be fine. So I answer the call, and what I see on my screen is him holding up his phone above his head, like from like a 0.5 angle, like extreme bird's eye view. And with his other hand, he is jerking his dick. Cool. He's completely naked. I'm like, oh my God.
Wait, okay, bird's eye view, like this is crazy. This is just
Also, your hand, that's...
I'm getting like Neanderthal. That's why it's this big. I don't know. How do guys jerk off? I don't fucking know.
That is crazy.
It's like, what? Why?
Why?
But we've talked about this. You can't, it's just not cute.
It's not a thing.
Frozen. I'm high, I'm alone, I'm like frozen with fear. He continues to jerk himself off, asking me to take my clothes off. I'm telling him no. He's continuing to jerk off. This whole process is like a minute long. I think I was just like watching in horror.
Yeah, like just stunned.
And
shocked.
yeah. Yep. All the way up into his very loud, very intense, very horrifying climax via FaceTime.
Oh my God.
How long? Damn, that is very visual, actually, and I don't need to talk about it. But
I
that's
felt
crazy.
incredibly virtually molested and creeped out. I don't know why I didn't hang up. I really don't know why, but I was like horrified and like frozen. Anyway, super weird and gross. Don't know why anyone would do that after the first date. I did not give that vibe off at all.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure what he was thinking, but yeah, he texted me the next day asking to hang out again, and I basically told him that we would never speak again. So that's my horrible date story. Sorry it's so long. I hope you ladies enjoy.
I did.
Happy spooky season. Stay safe, ladies.
That is crazy. You can't make this shit up.
No. It's actually insane, but at the same time, I'm like, it tracks.
Yeah, tracks. I'm also like, yeah, weird.
Horrible. What a horrible thing. On what planet is that ever okay? Even if you've been dating for years. I never want to see that.
If you... Bird's eye, man. That is crazy.
That is...
0.5 above the head.
I don't want to see it. That Halloween costume, I can't stop thinking about it.
What's crazy is, like, I bet you had to Google, like, this is just, like, a testament to how idiotic people are. But I bet he had to, like, Google, like, a Jesus costume.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, you as a Republican probably flaunting about how, like, Christian you are trying to make a joke about people, like, be so fucking cruel.
Yeah.
But then, like, people are, it's, like, the irony, it's not funny because it's horrible, but I'm, like, the irony in that is, like, wild. And also, like, I can't get over the breathalyzer. Like, I can't get over and, like, the fact I've been in that moment where you're just, like, this is how it's gonna go.
Yeah,
and,
you're
like,
in the car
you're in it, and you're like, well,
you can't get
fuck,
out.
now I'm here. Now it's like a do it for the plot kind of situation.
But, like, yeah. I feel like when you get in those moments, it's like, yes, you could get out of the car and leave, but you feel, like, trapped.
Yeah, you do feel trapped. And then there is a little bit of fear of, like, yeah, she lives by herself. What is she gonna do? Run back into her house?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Oh, my God. so many things I just learned about people. The level of
oh my god, crazy that is out in the world. That is like so near us. That is wild.
Oh my god. Well, that definitely took the cake for
that
horror.
Wins. Yeah. And on that note, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. I hope no one ever experiences anything like that. Terrifying.
Oh my god, crazy.
Yeah. Can't wait for next year, but also like hope nothing bad happens.
Yeah, from here. Don't need to be any horror-y than that.
No more horror stories. Hopefully everyone has lovely dates from here on out, and you're just so happy, and you have a great holiday season, and you get all the Halloween candy that you want.
Yep. Everything she said.
And we'll see you next week, maybe in this setting, maybe in a new spot. Who knows? Stay tuned. We love you. Find Polite as Fuck Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And we'll see you next Wednesday.
That was the flow, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.